Welcome back to another Llama Rider 37.2 production. And today I have a great topic. It's about my lifelong dream now. It changed yesterday. I now want to open a vape store and eventually add on a branch that is a liquor store. Now, this video is not going to be very cohesive because we're about to go see Five Nights at Freddy's. My girlfriend, boyfriend, thing is currently in the shower. So I'm sure she's in there scrub a dub a dubbing on her dingaling. I've always wondered. We don't shower together because she has this gender nonconformity issue in the shower, and she can't figure out what to present themselves as in the shower, right? Because they're fully exposed, and it's very strange. So I've always wondered what as they're scrub a dub a dubbing on their pecker, as the sponge hits it, is it a boy? Because then you're making contact with it, so therefore you had to be a boy. But then as the sponge lifts, are you not a boy? Are you a girl then? But then it's like, dude, so I feel like that's really complicated, and that probably is very stressful and a very, very complex issue. Anyways, the other day I drove by the other day I drove by a vape store, and I was like, huh. I think that is a really good business to get into, and here's why, right? Because in my life, I've sold clothing before, and clothing is a changing market. It changes every year, right? And retail, a changing market. Food tastes change. I mean, you can still sell tomatoes all the way around, so retail isn't really a perfect example. But a lot of businesses are ever changing, and you have to grow with trends in the times. I think owning a vape store or a tobacco, whatever I said at first. What is it? I can't remember right now. But owning a store that sells liquor and tobacco products, that is a not changing business. You are permanently going to be able to sell the same shit over and over again because people need their fix. They need their nicotine fix and they need alcohol. So if you open up what is the word? I said it at first. A smoke shop. I think that's what it. We'll just say smoke shop. If you open a smoke shop, people are permanently going to come in there. And yeah, you could say it's a little bit ever changing, but people are always going to want the $2 bags of tobacco. You know, people are always going to want a pint of cheap ass vodka that's like fake vodka that's low key killing them. People are always going to want this, and I think this philosophy of getting into a business that's stable instead of an ever-changing business is something that I need to implement, right? Um, and I feel like relative startup costs can't be that bad, right? Because you gotta get your lease, which is pretty expensive. But if you don't live in a very expensive area, like for example, me, I live in Ohio, I could go rent out a retail storefront for like 2 grand a month, probably. So I have to come up with like 6 grand to just, get into the building. And then what, 15 grand to inventory? How expensive could it be to buy a bunch of packs of cigs? I mean, I guess it could be expensive, right? But it would really only cost probably about $30,000 to get into the smoke shop business. And I could be deadly wrong. Obviously, I'm not interviewing smoke shop owners. I don't have that connect, right? But in my life, I've always had this desire to be a supervillain. And I think this is my best shot at being a supervillain, right? But here's the thing, I can be a supervillain that is seen as a superhero. And what I mean by that is if you own a smoke shop or a liquor shop, obviously you're a bit of a supervillain, right? You're enabling people to be able to do this terrible thing. But the people in the community see you as a hero. And I think that's great. You can do the most evil shit while being seen as a great guy, right? We had a dude at a gas station. He was old as shit, and he always sold to like 12-year-olds. He sold cigarettes to 12-year-olds. And I'm not saying I'd sell cigarettes to 12-year-olds. I wouldn't do that at all. But he sold cigarettes to anybody that would walk in the door. And when he died, the hood had like a memorial service for him. They loved this dude. They looked at him like a leader of men. They seen him as their leader, bruh. You know how the young kids see NBA young boy as a leader? I get spicy talking about that young boy. Um, it was kind of like that, but really, the dude was a piece of shit. He's selling cigarettes to kids. He's selling vapes to kids. He's selling bongs to kids. He's selling all this shit to kids. And despite that, he's seen as a hero among the youth. This is somebody who I imagine some of these people that are constantly buying cigarettes and shit off of him, they would probably bring in their newborn baby to him and have the old Indian man that was selling vapes to them kiss the baby's head to give him blessings. I imagine he was such a popular figure within the 14-year-old cigarette buying community that he was praised. He was seen as some sort of prophet. And I could also have that, right? I could be the dude, and once again, I'm not selling the kids, but I would be the one giving the fix to everybody while slowly killing them. And I was talking to my buddy Salad about, we know Salad, right? He's a frequent flyer on this channel. He's a frequent flyer to one of my islands still, but we won't talk about that. I guess I'll quit talking about that. He doesn't want me to bring that up anymore. Even though he does them raw too. It's really bad. When he comes to the island, it's like we got to prepare a whole like chicken slaughter room. You know what I mean? We got to put fucking plastic up on the walls and everything, because man, he makes them bleed. He's got a problem. He's got a real problem, and he's a grower. He's not a shower, or he's a shower, not a grower. Sorry. So he just starts out at like 6, and then he grows to like 8. See, I don't understand why you would want that. I feel like being a shower sucks ass. You just got to walk around with that thing swinging around instead of, like, for example, me, my shit, I'm a shower, or I'm a grower. I'm not a shower. So I'm cool. I'm compact, bro. If I want to put my shit in a cage and let some dude spank me, and maybe I squirt out the front of the cage every now and again, I can do that. But if I was a grower, imagine, or if I was a shower, sorry, uh, I'm sorry that I'm fucking up the complex issue at hand here. If I was a shower, I wouldn't be able. I'd need quite a big cage, right? But yeah, when he comes to my island, it's a big problem. It seriously is a big problem, and the cleanup is just disgusting because he's into shit. He's into fucking piss. It's disgusting. It quite frankly is disgusting. But I was talking to Salad about this the other day, and essentially, I want to make a black hole in poor Ohio communities, and there already is a black hole in these communities. But I want to move a or a smoke liquor store. Okay, both combined. I want to move that into the kind of on the cusp of where the bad and the good meets. So I want to be right there in the middle. Okay, and I want the bad people to come in. I want everybody to come in. I'm gonna price lower. Okay, so I'm gonna kill off the other smoke shops around me. And then at that point, people are going to build such a reliance on these cheap nicotine products that they're only going to spend their money with me. First off, I want that desperately. I want these people to spend all their money with me, is what I'm saying here. And I want to become the only light in their darkness. Okay. And here's the thing, I want people in government assistance buying from me. I want them to spend all their money with me. And then to the point to where they can't buy a car, they can't buy transportation, so therefore they can't leave. And then at that point, once I have a community that's super reliant upon me, and they can't move, they can't go 10 miles because they're probably also an EBT. They're big as shit. They're eating a lot of food. At that point, you can then jack up the prices, and then they're already only spending their money with me. So therefore, I could quadruple my profits. But here comes the decent side of the community that I want them to also come, and I slowly want them to progress into the poorer side, and then that builds a whole like 3,000 people radius of people that just buy cigarettes from me and alcohol all day. Isn't that brilliant? And then I want to start a chain of liquor and smoke shops. And I then I want to sell bath salts too. That's a big thing about it. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention the bath salts thing. You can sell bath salts because you put them in baths and it makes the bath more salty. So I would sell bath accessories and maybe bath bombs with, I don't know, bath salts in it, like bath bomb, bath salt combinations. I don't know. You can eat them like a fucking Tide Pod. Shout out all my dank memers that were eating Tide Pods. That shit's tough. But Yeah, I want to go to every community in Ohio and open up a smoke shop and slowly turn everybody into smoke shop slaves. That's what I want. And liquor store too. I always forget about the liquor store. And I want to sell shit like knives as well, right? I want to sell like exotic knives. And here's the thing, right? Whenever people walk out of the smoke shop, I want them to be happy. So I'm gonna have pre-roll cigarettes that are like of random, like Camel, like all of these cigarettes. I'm gonna have them in a big container, and you can take one before you go, right? So therefore, if they like that cigarette, maybe they'll come in and buy the more expensive cigarettes. This is a perfect idea, and I need at least $100,000 capital because I want to open up at least three to begin. So if you're a big wig and you're willing to help a guy live out his dreams of opening a smoke shop and ruining communities, this isn't a joke. I this is something I'm seriously going to look into because once again, the startup costs cannot be that fucking bad to open a smoke shop. And once again, I can live out the desire to be a supervillain. So I need a lot. I need some capital. Okay, and if you guys got it, I really need it. Once again, we're going to sell knives, we're going to sell vapes, we're going to sell tobacco, we're going to sell alcohol, bath salts, definitely bath salts. I got to do the bath salts. Also, I'm going to have a strict zero stealing policy. So for the first 6 months of any store opening, and this is something that you need to look into if you want to invest, I want to, once again, I want to have a strict zero shoplifting policy, and that is going to be enforced by weapons and by general managers. I'm going to train my general managers, to shoot any shoplifters, and I'm going to make sure. Well, we can use AI to manipulate the camera recordings. We don't even have to give proof. So I want the message out there that you don't steal from my smoke shop. That's another big thing. So if you're willing to send me cash at me like 5 bands, which I imagine a lot of you, you guys are gonna cash at me 5 bands. That's what I'm saying. I know a lot of you are, and you will, because this is a great idea. We're a smoke, liquor, knife, bath salt, bong, and other tobacco pipes. We're selling everything in that vicinity. And we'll sell like energy drinks too, but we'll make sure we get the ones that have obscene amounts of caffeine. Fuck it, we'll get Jake Paul into the store. Maybe we'll get him on board. Anyways, we're gonna open up this smoke shop, and I'm gonna continue to talk about this. I have more things I'm currently forgetting. There will probably be a part two to this. I want to continue to talk about this smoke shop idea because I want people with money to get their ears on this shit. I desperately want to open up a black hole business in small Ohio communities, and I want to build a smoke shop, liquor shop, knife shop, bath salt shop, and energy drink shop empire. And I think that's what part two is going to be about. I'm going to detail what I want to do once I have the empire. Goodbye.